And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios and appreciate your patience this morning. We've got some big news coming out of Central New York that's going to be happening at 11:05 a.m. this morning. So do not miss out on that. And we have some big opportunities on the show here today. So a lot of things happening this morning on July 17th in Central and Upstate New York. And of course, here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, we thank you for being here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. You could find your way to Great Lakes Honda City by going to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And you can get a sneak peek at everything that they have to offer by going to greatlakeshondacity.com. For those of you here on the broadcast, you have the opportunity to connect with us in so many different ways up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe. You'll find Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. And our guests this morning, an awesome opportunity to welcome two people back to the show, and that's starting with Zach Rogacki, who will be joining us here in a Bearcat Breakroom. You know him from Binghamton University baseball. He's already been on the show here with us, and we've gotten to celebrate his time at Binghamton University. Well, now we get to talk with a Major League Baseball player, as he has been drafted by the Colorado Rockies in the 2025 draft. And so we'll be talking with Zach picture in picture in just a moment. And in hour number 2 at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time, we will be joined by Katie Kolinski of the Newman School, taking her first ever head coaching opportunity after being at Syracuse for over half a decade under Jim Boeheim, and also spending time at Buffalo, Lafayette, and recently Lemoyne. She will now take over her own program at the Newman School in Boston, Massachusetts, as the girls basketball head coach. We'll be discussing that with her in just a little while. So, two wonderful guests, two wonderful opportunities. Picture in picture here with Zach Rogacki this morning. And Zach, first and foremost, congratulations on the awesome news of being selected in the 2025 Major League Baseball draft.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It took a lot of people to get me here, so I just want to thank all of them again.
And you said it took a lot of people to help get you there. Who is top of mind to you that you really want to thank, being in the position that you're in right now? Who would you like to give a shout out to on this road?
Probably my parents for sure. Like my whole, extended family, girlfriend. Honestly, like parents paid for everything when I was younger. Kind of like put me through baseball. Baseball's becoming a little more of an expensive sport. So I'm really appreciative of them for sticking with me to like try to push me to my dream. Like when I was growing up. So definitely huge by them getting me here, and then just like the support of my girlfriend, my teammates, my coaching staff. Like if I didn't like believe that I could do it because of them, like I wouldn't have done this. So it's huge thanks to them.
Yeah, and you said it's obviously something that can become expensive, and families getting behind it. Typically a parent will want a child to go out and do something, right? See what they like and go out there and give it a shot. But when you really fell in love with baseball, just what you could say to the level your parents were willing to go to make sure that you had what you needed.
Shit.
We got you. We got you. We can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. No worries.
All right, sorry. I like blanked out for a second.
No, it's okay. Just what you could say about your family, and once you decided that this is the sport for you and you really wanted to commit to it, just everything that they did, the steps that they took to make sure you had what you needed.
Yeah, so like growing up, to get recruited to like to college baseball now, you have to do travel baseball. My parents kind of got me into that like pretty early in my life, which was kind of fun. It was like fun at that point. I met a lot of friends, and then they got me into a great organization in high school called Baseball U, New Jersey. So like, you got to pay for stuff like that. And it's kind of just like get you opportunities and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you have the option, I would definitely take up on that. And I mean, means the world for recruiting now is playing in a travel ball organization that you trust. So, I mean, they they did all these background checks, my parents, and they found me spots, and like they've been influential on like me finding different schools to go to as well.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, doing the research and being on this road, you have to love playing this sport, and it has to be something that truly is with you all the time. Why baseball? Why did baseball end up being the thing for you? I know that we've talked about your story and your journey before, but as you reflect on it here, after hearing that you are heading to the majors, what was that thing or things about the sport itself that even on your toughest day, even through most adversity, it spoke to you that this was the place for you?
Yeah, so I've wanted to be in the MLB since I was like 5 years old. So kind of just like the pacing of the game is like you can like other sports, if you have a bad game, like your team is probably gonna lose. Baseball's more of like if you play bad on the offensive side, you could also have a good defensive game
Yeah.
and like vice versa. So and like just baseball is such an awesome team sport because it's like a sport you have to rely on everybody for, but it makes um, it makes your individual moments feel even better when you can like come through for your teammates and stuff. So like stuff like that, especially this year, like I would get a big hit and I would get fired up for my teammates in the dugout. So like stuff like that, like teammates like rooting for you and rooting for each other is like the biggest part of why like I love this sport.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean the biggest part of why you love it, that teammate camaraderie, that connection that you have. Who are some teammates that are top of mind to you when you see that you've been drafted, that this dream that you had from being 5 years old is now a reality? Who are some of the teammates that maybe you thought about in that moment?
Oh, all of them. I can't single out guys, because like it's not one guy that like helped me get here. It's
Yeah.
like the whole team. Um, so like just all my teammates, they all, texted me before and were like, good luck. So that was like pretty special to me. And then, I get drafted and they're all texting me on Instagram, Snapchat, like my actual text messages. So it's pretty awesome. And then like another teammate that like I could single out is my good friend Matt Potok, who went to Coastal Carolina. We like grew up together. We've played on almost every single baseball team you could possibly play on together, and he got drafted by the Phillies in the 18th round. So that was pretty cool, like of a moment to share with him. So yeah, but I'd have to say like Binghamton and my former school, I'd have to say every single teammate. So
Yeah, no, I mean, it speaks to your character too. When I said, is there one or two that sticks out? And you said all of them, without question. And like you said, one of your teammates, somebody that you've had as a part of your life, also getting drafted and having a dream realized after going to Coastal Carolina. Just bring me into that, right? Being able to celebrate not only this incredible moment for you personally, but to be able to celebrate it with a teammate, with someone that you obviously care about and root for. What it was like to see him get drafted as well.
yeah, it was awesome because they went to College World Series and I got to watch him pitch, and it was like the coolest thing ever that he was there and like pitching. So now like I wasn't even watching the draft at that point. I kind of just like forgot. Like I was so excited, I just kind of forgot about like everything that was happening around me, and I like completely forgot that he was probably going to get drafted. But then, I was on my way home from getting getting a hat, and I just randomly saw an Instagram graphic, and I was like, "Oh my God! Like it happened! Like it's so cool!" And then, like, I immediately called them, and it was awesome. And then our high school coaches, like, made group chats with us, and they were like, "You guys, this is so cool." And then me and Matt, like, the rest of the night, just like traded pictures of us from when we were younger
Yeah.
playing baseball, like anytime we were next to each other, and we were like, the script has always been there. So it was funny.
And and like you said, I mean, the script has always been there, right? That belief has always been there. To see that dream realized, to know that something you had at 5 years old is now genuinely reality. What does that say to you in your life, and maybe what you want to say to people out here that are watching and listening about dreams that some people might think are insane, crazy, and never going to happen? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say it's like not exactly, I mean, people always say it's like a little cliche, but like it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Because, I was like an under-recruited, scrawny high schooler and went D3 and then like transferred and made it to the big, like made it to professional baseball. Like it's been a crazy ride, but I mean, it's just sticking with it and just working on the things that you're capable of, like in controlling the controllables, like working on your craft or like getting stronger, stuff like that. Um, it definitely takes a type of person to do it, but I think if it's something like you've dreamed about since you were a little kid, um, like just stick with it because a lot of people said I wasn't good enough,
Yeah.
didn't recruit me and stuff like that. So, I mean, just sticking with it. I mean, anything can happen. So stuff like that. It's pretty awesome.
Zach Rogacki here in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Binghamton University, celebrating this Bearcat, celebrating your success in this edition of the Bearcat Breakroom here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I don't know if you know this, Zach, but you're a part of history at Binghamton now with Major League Baseball draft picks, and I will do my best with some of these names of these gentlemen here. Back in 1990, Binghamton had their first ever player drafted, and that was Dan Gray, a catcher as well, and going to the Los Angeles Dodgers in the seventh round. Dick Gorman was also drafted that year to the Dodgers as well. In 2001, Jeff Montani, right-handed pitcher to the Orioles. 2008, Jeff Dennis, left-handed pitcher to the Athletics. 2009, Murphy Smith to the Athletics as a pitcher. And then 2010, Henry Dunn, outfielder to the Indians at the time, now the Cleveland Guardians. In 2012, Mike Aguilera, right-handed pitcher to the Red Sox. Lee Sosa, a right-handed pitcher to the Athletics. In 2014, Bill Bereznowitz going to the outfield for the Dodgers. 2015, Jake Thomas, outfield to the Jays. 2016, Mike Bunal, right-handed pitcher to the Rockies as well. 2017, Justin Yurchek, third baseman to the White Sox. Dylan Stock, right-handed pitcher to the Tigers. 2018, Nick Wegman, a left-handed pitcher to the Mariners. 2019, Ben Anderson, right-handed pitcher to the Rangers. Last year, Nick Rosselli, second baseman to the Mets. And this year, you to the Rockies. So reading off those names, just what that kind of does in your history and for you as a forever Bearcat to know that you are a part of this long list of Bearcats from 1990 to now that have been drafted to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it just goes to a testament of how, this program's growing. It's, those guys drafted, a couple years apart, and now like me and Nick back-to-back years, and my teammates like Devin and Evan Sullivan, like they're in a boat where they can get signed. So like we breed professional baseball now. So it's just a testament to Skip, Coach Herba, Coach Mike, Foles, and Coach Mark for like building this program the way it is to like now, and the donations for the facility and stuff to be like kind of a breeding ground for Northeast professional baseball. So I think that's pretty cool. I'm really proud of the program for that, especially like individually, but looking at the bigger picture, like I want me getting drafted and Nick getting drafted to be like a recruiting tool for like our coaches. So like I think that's pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, not only yourself and Nick, but there's other guys that have opportunities to be signed. What is it about this Binghamton team? Like you said, I mean, obviously the facilities are fantastic. I've seen them. There's been additions here. You have indoor opportunities in a world where upstate New York can be cold, can snow for 5 or 6 months out of the year, and you have these facilities that I think would hang around with people all over the country. And, I mean, you look at, I remember before I had seen anything, they said this $60 million facility for baseball, just the field itself can hang with Ohio State. And I remember coming down, seeing that, and then going inside and looking at everything that you have. And I've been in professional locker rooms of all different sports, and I have seen beauty, and what you have in your locker room is absolutely incredible. And I mean, you have meeting rooms where you can, like, the glass can like literally uh, it can fog so that it's a private meeting, or it could be open so people can walk by. I mean, there's little intricate things there, but I mean, from the batting cages to pitching to just the, in general, the workout facility, the levels of everything here. Binghamton University has invested so much into their athletics, and baseball really has seen what that looks like to have those investments. So, coming from Binghamton and knowing everything that you had there physically, what do you want to say to Binghamton University about their dedication to making sure that their student athletes have all they need?
Yeah, I just want to say, like, firstly, in my opinion, we're better than Ohio State with all that stuff. I'd say we're on par with SEC schools.
I
So
like
I
that.
just kind of want to shoot us up like that. But I've made so many I was only at Binghamton for 2 years, but like,
Yeah.
I feel like I made so many connections within the athletic department and just like faculty of the school. I just love all those people there. They're all great people. They're all there to help. So if like you use them as like for your resources, like they're there for you. They're always open to help. Especially you know, big guy that's helped me a lot, kind of get noticed a little bit is John Hartrick. You know him.
Yeah.
He's the SID for Binghamton Athletics. Really great connection with him. We kind of hit it off pretty early. Just trying to, meet as many people as I could. But all the athletic trainers, Kara Gorgeous, who is the like one of our head athletic trainers in the training office. She kind of helped organize all the trainers this fall to kind of get me as healthy I could possibly be. So I think, just it's for top of the office people to training staff to just even, somebody I met, one of my professors or something. So all great people. If anybody's looking to go to Binghamton, I definitely would recommend it just because of that.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, it's about the people, and you with this team have had the opportunity to be around your guys and to see what they bring to the table. The level of talent at Binghamton University. What would you say to that effect when you look at the coaching staff, you look at the student athletes, what this program truly is, the level that it's on, in your opinion, knowing that, I mean, we look at the history of players drafted, you being one of those players and Nick last year, but overall, when you look at your teammates and you look at this coaching staff, how would you describe Binghamton baseball and maybe why somebody should come here?
Yeah, I would just probably say watch out because we're coming. I think this program's at a spot where it's gonna win multiple championships, multiple years in a row now. I mean, there's some outstanding players that like I got to share the field with this year. We were a little senior heavy, but the talent coming up that's going to be in the starting lineup next year is unbelievable. And then in a couple of years, I'd look for, or even next year, the year after that, I'd watch the draft again because there's a few guys that I think are like locks to get drafted if they keep playing the way they're going to be, and they'd probably be drafted before me. So I would just say like to the rest of the conference and other teams that have us on the schedule, like obviously don't take us lightly because I mean we're coming for greater stuff and we're gonna get even better recruits with the facilities and stuff. So I mean there's a uproar of talent that's coming in.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, I mean, winning a championship, to do that in your last season at Binghamton, to know that you have a title right before you leave and go to Major League Baseball, just what that means to you and what you can say to that effect that you left on such a high note and got to advance to the NCAAs and play the likes of Georgia and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I told Skip and Herba this, Coach Herba, like when I called him after I got drafted, I was like, yeah, I came to Bing to win a championship, not get drafted. Well, give me a better chance to get drafted, but I came mainly to win a championship because that was something that was still missing from my trophy case a little bit and kind of had a little chip on my shoulder to get one.
Yeah.
So then junior year when we fell short a little bit, I was like, I think I said to Evan Sullivan, I was like, we're not losing this, we're not losing the tournament next year. And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So then, just to have that happen and then go experience these things with my family, it was the coolest baseball experiences I've ever had. And I've almost went to the Little League World Series when I was younger. this trumps that. That championship. I mean, first three seeds since 2014 to win the America East tournament. It was pretty special. Our offense and went crazy, and then our pitching staff, finished the job for us in the last game. It was unreal. I just couldn't stop. Like I couldn't stop crying on the field. It was crazy.
And Zach, for you, and like you said, I mean, that's such a huge moment. Then you have that hat on, the Colorado Rocky hat. You said that once you found out you're being drafted by the Rockies, you had to go out and get a hat. I always wonder in these situations because the hat seems to immediately be on the head. I'm like, are they sent? Do you get more than one? Is the agent going, these are the five teams, be ready to put one of these on, or do you have to go and get one? Bring me into the trip for you to make sure that you were rocking a Rockies hat as soon as you got drafted?
Yeah. So like we didn't want to buy a hat unless I got picked by that team because then you buy a hat and it's kind of like we didn't want to buy hats before because then you buy four hats, you spend $100 on like four hats and you don't get picked by how many of the teams you bought the hats. So
Yeah.
our plan was always to get something after, and then my mom and girlfriend, we just kind of ran to the mall like a couple hours later, and we were like, we need hats. So we got what seemed like the last four Rockies hats in the entire state of New Jersey there, because people were talking smack about the Rockies. We were like, yeah, that's a crazy time to be talking. Like you have no idea like why I want a Rockies hat. And then we eventually said it, and and they were like, oh, okay, here you go. So it was cool. My brother lives in Los Angeles, and he just sent us a picture of him in the same hat I'm wearing. Like before I even got mine, I was like, where in the world did you get that? So we were like, we need hats. We need some sort of representation. It was pretty awesome. So yeah.
And for you, Zach, what does it mean to be a Rocky?
Oh, it's about, rebuilding an organization. I think they're not at a spot where they're winning right now, and they had a great draft. Obviously I think that, but because they picked me, but I think it's cool watching the players they're drafting and be like, oh, like I know him, he's really good. I've played against him and stuff like that. So I think I want to help, like, obviously I got to work up the ranks of minor league baseball, but eventually I want to help this team get into a winning spot again.
And for you, I mean, going to a franchise that currently has the worst record in baseball and has fired their manager and whatnot, some people would say, why would you want to go to an organization like that in the position that they're in? You want to go to a team that's going to the playoffs. I would argue that for somebody coming in through the draft, this is a perfect place for you to come up the ranks in the farm system and be able to hopefully help sooner than later. Would you echo that as well?
Yeah, like, every time I talk to a scout on the phone, I was like, what do you guys do with like how quickly do you move guys up? Like, are you aggressive? And all the teams that I talked to were like, yes, we are. So I definitely was had that in the back of my mind. Like, I don't want to get there and then, be stuck in the spots. I think the Rockies pitched me like a great reward system, and they were like, if you're ready, we'll move you up. Like, it's all about, how you're performing at the time. And if you're like killing it at one level, we'll move you up. So, um, I think stuff like that is cool, especially like with time frame of minor league baseball. It's easy to get stuck in levels. So I was excited that the Rockies picked me
Yeah.
because talking to my area scout Mike Garlotti, who's another New Jersey guy, um, you know he explained all this to me, and I was like, this would be a great opportunity, and it's a great organization. Even though they're not playing as well as they want to be, they're still a great organization. So yeah, just stuff like that was a good factor for me.
And I'm looking at what they have here, and so they have for single A, they have Fresno; for advanced A, they have Spokane; for double A, they have Hartford; and for triple A, they have Albuquerque. How much have you looked into their farm system and the opportunities that are available there when it comes to the Colorado Rockies?
Oh yeah, I before the draft I did like extensive research on all the teams that were potentially going to draft me, like their farm systems, what kind of just what I was getting myself into. 'Cause it can get crazy really fast. Like right now, like I got to pack all day today
Yeah.
and get like shipped out to Arizona tomorrow. But Rockies really stuck out to me because the Hartford Yard Goats Double A team is it's only like 45 minutes from my entire mom's side of my family.
Yeah.
So that would, eventually that would be like a really cool place to play. And it's also like they play Binghamton, so that would be cool to come back and play them, like the Rumble Ponies. But, you know, every minor league team is kind of all over the place, so it's not that big of a deal to me. I'm just like excited to go wherever I'm sent. So as of now, I'm just like excited to go explore new places.
And you said you're packing all day today and then getting shipped out to Arizona. Are you heading to the FCL Rockies in Scottsdale in the Arizona Complex League? Is that where things are getting started?
Yeah, so I have to fly out, do my physical Saturday, and then sign my contract Sunday. And then there's a mini camp of all the draft picks. So it's like 20 of us, 5 days, and then we play a little bit of baseball. It's just like live at bats and stuff. And then they decide if you're gonna do the rookie ball league, or if they'll send you to a minor league team like an affiliate. So I think it's I don't know a whole lot now. I think I'll know a lot more when I get down there, but
Yeah.
I think it's just cool that they're getting me down there that quickly, and get to see the Arizona complex, and just play competition and meet all the guys that I'm sharing the draft class with.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing too is in the 2025 Major League Baseball draft. I mean, where at whatever round anybody was selected, you're going to be around the guys. I mean, you're going to see who the Rockies drafted from the beginning to the end of this draft. I mean, for that, just the little kid in you, the 5 year old that always wanted to be drafted. What are you thinking about that portion of it? That you will be around people that were drafted before you, after you, and really get to see the full class.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to like kind of meet the guys right now. You know, I'm trying not to, think that people are better than me because they got picked before me. Like that's what I've been told by like a lot of, scouts that I talked to through this whole process. Right now we're all on the same playing field. So, I mean, to have a mindset like, like I belong here is what I'm kind of gonna take in this weekend and these next couple weeks and like kind of the rest of my career. So, I mean, just stuff like that to kind of keep me going. It's like, these are all some of them are high school kids. Like they're all nervous. Everybody's nervous. Like we're all in the same boat. So it's kind of just, kind of meshing with those guys and kind of understanding that we're on the same boat is gonna go a long way.
Before I let you go, why do you feel that you belong here?
Um, I feel like I've kind of excelled at every level. I've done everything that like my coaches have instructed me and asked. Like I love to learn. Like I'm coachable. So I think just getting down there and meeting like the whole organizational staff. I'm really excited to meet like the catching coach for the Rockies, hitting coach, all the specialty coaches because that's how they do it in like pro leagues. You know, it's just like preparation and knowing that I've excelled at every level. So like I've got that background and like I can understand that, this, and this is what works for me. So I'm excited for that challenge.
Have you spoken with Nick at all, with him being in the Mets organization and trying to come up through the farm system? Have you had any conversations with him about what he's gone through so recently?
Yeah, I've talked to him like almost like every day this year. He's been a big outlet. I mean, the Mets are obviously in a better spot, so they're not exactly moving guys up and down so quickly. But just understanding his experience and like to not get too high or too low is kind of like his biggest advice, and just enjoy. I bought myself extra time playing the sport that I love, so it's just like that. It's still a game. Obviously, it's professional and it's a business, but at the end of the day, it's still a game. So I mean, that was his biggest advice to me. So it's pretty awesome that I had an outlet to use like that.
Zach, I'm going to give you a final word here, but before I do that, I do want to let everybody know, like you said, coming up through this Rockies organization, we have the FCL Rockies. You'll be going down to Scottsdale, Arizona to meet all of the rookies that were drafted in 2025. The Fresno Grizzlies, the Spokane Indians, as well as the Hartford Yard Goats that you mentioned, and the Albuquerque Isotopes. I very, very soon want to go myself and get a hat for the Albuquerque Isotopes, knowing that you're going to be one step away from the majors. But I do have to say that the Hartford Yard Goats have stolen my heart, and I absolutely want to get one of those hats. So you get the final word, what you want the Rockies organization to know, what you want Major League Baseball to know, what you want the world to know as you step forward, realizing a dream that you had as a little kid.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I know I'm a good player, but there's other guys around me that like I'm gonna have to eventually move up over. So like I never have backed down from a challenge, especially baseball. So I'm gonna like stick it out the whole way through, no matter what happens. I'm just gonna try to keep playing my game. And I'm just like really appreciative of the Rockies because they've been so great throughout this whole process. They tracked me like for a while this year, and they looked at all my numbers. I got the full story from Mike yesterday. They looked at my numbers and they were just comparing me to other people, and they were like, "Wow, he's actually better than we thought," kind of. So stuff like that. I'm just gonna keep getting better. I'm still like I'm a young senior. I haven't even turned 22 yet. So I'm just gonna stick it out. I'm excited to just get down there, and I just like want to thank everybody again, family, friends, teammates, coaches, because they got me there. So I'm very appreciative of everybody.
Well, you got a pack. I know you got a lot of things going on. I'm very grateful that we got to work something out here this morning, and I appreciate the fact that we did that. Bearcat Breakroom, Zach Rogacki. The next time he is here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're talking about a Major League Baseball player officially now, but that Rocky logo is going to be in the corner after this. So shout out to you, Zach. Congratulations. And to me, it's awesome because you and I got to talk within these last few months, got to follow your team, see them win a championship. And Binghamton has meant a lot to me. I know, like you said, you spent a couple years there, but getting to hear your story, get to know you a little bit, and then look at my phone and see that you've been drafted, that was something that was huge for me. And I was like, and I did it. We just had a trade night and Sports Zone Academy that trains baseball and softball players in Syracuse, New York, and throughout Central New York. I was talking about you. I said, there's a Binghamton guy that's heading to the Rockies. Like, there's a guy from Binghamton University that we're going to see in Major League Baseball. So, just so you know, the ripple effect positively is felt all over. And I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of this journey and share your story. I'm super, super proud of you, but you have barely scratched the surface. And I know I'm going to be talking to a guy with a Rockies jersey on, and I know you're going to kick some butt out there in Major League Baseball.
Oh, thanks, Dan. I really appreciate you getting me on here, and like getting tell my story again for the second time. So I appreciate you. Love to talk again sometime. So thanks again.
Absolutely. We will keep in touch. Get your packing done, get some rest, have a safe flight, and God bless to you and your family.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, you too. Take care. That coming from Zach Rogacki one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Cannot thank Zach enough. We were able to put this together in very kind of short order here, short time that we had to get everything set up. We were trying to make sure that I had him on here as soon as we possibly could to be able to share his story with you about the opportunity that he now has in Major League Baseball after being drafted. And some of you might be sitting here saying to me, well, Dan, okay, he got drafted. I want to know when. He got drafted in the 9th round by the Colorado Rockies. So just to make a note of that, and as we look through all the names from 1990 to 2025 of Binghamton players that have been drafted into Major League Baseball, round-wise, I'm looking through this. I believe he is the 3rd highest round ever for Binghamton, and he is. So I just wanted to double check my numbers here. The highest pick ever in the history of the Binghamton Bearcats happened in 2012, where Mike Aguilera, right-handed pitcher to the Boston Red Sox, in the 5th round. And then the second highest ever, Dan Gray, who was the first person ever drafted out of Binghamton, and he's a catcher that went to the Dodgers in the 7th round. And then Zach Rogacki, also a catcher, going to the Rockies in the 9th round. So the round that he was chosen in is the 3rd highest ever in Binghamton Bearcat baseball history. And I think it's really, really cool to look at the bookends and say the first player ever drafted out of Binghamton to Major League Baseball was a catcher, and the most recent, also a catcher. Pretty cool. It's how God works. Always ever so poetic. We'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we'll be back right after this fast break with plenty more, including Katie Kolinski coming up to speak on her new opportunity as she becomes a head coach for the first time ever.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand butter chicken. We hand spin on milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on into the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K, the number 9, KAMP ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Appreciate your patience here today inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. You can go and visit them for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and you can get a sneak peek of everything they have to offer, from the Honda Civic to the Honda Accord, the HR-V, the CR-V, the Ridgeline, the Pilot, and more by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Let them know that DT sent you their way. Big time thanks to Zach Rogacki, and once again joining a long list of Binghamton Bearcats that have been drafted throughout history. By the way, the ones that I had mentioned here, we talked about every single one of them from 1990 to 2025. There was a run from 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 of having a player drafted at least one each year. In 2017, multiple players drafted out of Binghamton to Major League Baseball. And in the last 2 years, in 2024 and 2025, Nick Rosselli, second baseman for the New York Mets in the 11th round. And here in 2025, Zach Rogacki, catcher, Colorado Rockies in the 9th round, are your most recent picks. So shout out to Nick Rosselli, as well as Zach Rogacki, and everyone in Binghamton history for having their dream realized of having their name called in the Major League Baseball draft. Awesome work that's being done, and I can't say enough about the coaching staff and everybody over at Binghamton University for the work that they have put into this. And he mentioned John Hartrick, who helped him. John obviously overseeing athletic communications at Binghamton University, so a shout out to John that he cares and, you know, did what he could to help out the student athletes as well. Not everybody's like that, right? Not every person in athletic communications is going to go the extra mile. They might just write the story, want to get the stat. They might just treat it as an, everyday job, boom, boom, put the numbers in and leave. Some don't want to go the extra mile and say, hey, what can I do to help you? How can I get your name out there? How can I make sure that, you have everything you need and you have the best opportunity? So shout out to Tim Sinicki, Ryan Herba, Mike Foley, Mark Ryan, and so on and so forth, including Brian McGovern in the support staff for the head sports performance coach, and as well as Zach Herron. And I do want to thank John Hartrick again. So shout out to everyone that is working there on staff for Binghamton Baseball. Big time shout out to the one that leads the athletic department in Gene Marshall, and to all of the student athletes that are currently on Binghamton, will be on Binghamton, and have been a piece of this brotherhood for Binghamton University Bearcats baseball. So I love seeing it, love hearing it, and I will continue to bang the drum for the Binghamton University student athletes in general, including this baseball team. Super proud of Zach Rogacki, Nick Rosselli, and everyone who has done it, and super proud of everybody else that's working toward the opportunity of getting in as a free agent. So don't give up on your dreams. Zach is exactly a reason to continue going and continue to believe in everything that you can do. He's just getting started. So I can't say enough. I really honestly, these are moments where I am so excited to see someone excel. You know, there's people in this world that they just want to see themselves. It's all about them. It's all about how can I take care of me? And yeah, you got to take care of yourself and you got to chase your own dreams and you are the keeper of your own story. At the same time, I'm the type of person where if the people that I care about are winning, the people that I've built relationships with are winning, we're all winning. You know, I feel that. I sense that. I enjoy that. I love that. And I feel that way about Zach Rogacki and Nick Rosselli. I want to see them win because the farther they go chasing their dreams, the more they accomplish, the more that they do, the more smiles they have, the happier I am to see them out there doing it. And now I'm a big fan of them. I don't have to be, you know what I mean? It's like Nick Rosselli. I'm a Diamondback fan through and through, but Nick Rosselli on the Mets, I'm watching, right? Zach Rogacki on the Rockies, I'm watching. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. So God bless to both of those gentlemen and to everybody that's working to get themselves out there from Binghamton and from all of the wonderful places that I've had the opportunity to connect with. Many thanks to each and every single one of you. I want to make a note here in the NFL, as we're going to have Katie Kolinski on in about 15 minutes. Von Miller has decided to join the Washington Commanders on a potential one-year deal. So veteran defensive end Von Miller, who spent most of his career with the Broncos and then came over to the Buffalo Bills, is now looking to head out to the NFC from being in the AFC and will join the Washington Commanders here. He posted 2 pictures of himself in a Washington jersey on Instagram yesterday night, and he has recorded 129.5 career sacks to rank 16th on the NFL's all-time sack list. And he still has to pass a physical, but there is this notion that he could be signing a one-year deal. He is 36 years old, played the past 3 seasons with the Bills, recording 14 sacks over 3 seasons, 8 in his first season, and 6 last season. Washington hopes he could do what he did for the Los Angeles Rams in 2021, serve as a final component of a Super Bowl title run. The Rams had acquired him in a midseason trade, and then he posted 5 sacks in 8 regular season games and 4 more in the playoffs when the Rams won the Super Bowl. So he has been AFC as well as NFC, AFC again, and now back to the NFC. In his first 10 years in the NFL with the Denver Broncos, he had 110.5 sacks and made 7 All-Pro teams, including 3 first teams, and was named to the Pro Bowl 8 times. The last occurred after the 2019-2020 season, and he was the MVP of Super Bowl 50. So, a lot of good things, hopefully, to come for Washington. I said last season, going into the season before a game was played, that rookie Jaden Daniels would have the best rookie season of any rookie quarterback in the draft for 2024. He did not disappoint and absolutely had that. And now to see him step forward with his team, and I believe that Washington is a dangerous team. I would love to see Washington-Buffalo, to be honest. And that'd be kind of cool for Von Miller, right? Most recently in Buffalo, now a Washington Commander potentially. That would be really cool to see. But I think Washington has a lot to offer, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like. Now, Arizona Diamondbacks, Ketel Marte's home run was robbed during the All-Star break. Let's take a look at this. Speaking of Scottsdale, Arizona, where we are going to see Zach Rogacki head out to very soon, I'm taking a look at this, and it says, a home belonging to Arizona Diamondback star Ketel Marte was burglarized during the Major League Baseball All-Star break, according to police. So his home, not his home run, his home was robbed. In Scottsdale, Arizona, police confirmed that the department is investigating, quote, a high-dollar residential burglary, end quote, that is believed to have happened this past Tuesday night, which is when Ketel Marte was playing for the National League in the All-Star game in Atlanta, and that's a game that they won in the swing-off. Numerous personal items and jewelry were stolen. No one was at the home when the burglary occurred, thank God. Maricopa County Assessor's Office records show Marte owns a home on the block near the investigation. They said the investigation is ongoing. The burglary is the latest in a series of thefts from the homes of high-profile athletes across the country. Players have been targeted because of the high-end products believed to be in their homes, and sometimes the thefts occur when they are away with their teams for road games. The FBI has warned sports leagues about crime organizations targeting professional athletes. The NFL and NBA have issued security alerts to athletes. A Seattle man was charged last month in connection with a string of burglaries at the homes of prominent active and retired professional athletes in the area. So it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing to see, right? To literally attack someone's success. Say, okay, well, obviously these are high-profile athletes. They're making a lot of money. Their contracts are public. You might see them at a game wearing one of their chains, so you see some of the jewelry that they have. And then, it makes an athlete think, well, can I wear this stuff out public? Can I showcase this? Should contracts be held private now? It's ridiculous that people will attack success. It's ridiculous. But it's what people do. Instead of working for their own, they go after somebody else's. And it's sad. But on a happier note, somebody that I got to meet in my coverage of the college football playoff from the Texas Longhorns, Jahdae Barron, has reached his deal with the Denver Broncos. Rookie cornerback Jahdae Barron reported to training camp with other Broncos rookies yesterday after getting an agreement done, which leaves only Shamar Stewart as the unsigned first-round picks from April's draft. He is the only unsigned now, Shamar Stewart is. Barron, selected at number 20 by the Broncos, agreed to a 4-year deal worth just over $18 million that includes a signing bonus of $9.8 million, which is more than half the contract. The Broncos privately had little concern about Barron's deal getting done, as the two sides had spent time in negotiation over the payment schedule of his signing bonus. So, looking at that, the Broncos rookies reported for training camp yesterday, as I said, at the team's South Suburban Denver complex, and the team's veterans are scheduled to report next Tuesday, which would be Tuesday, July 22nd. The only unsigned draft pick for the Broncos is running back R.J. Harvey out of UCF, who, like most of the second-rounders this year, has not agreed to a deal. Now, Barron, who played multiple positions at Texas, including cornerback, nickel, and safety, as well as linebacker in some of the specialty packages, spent much of the Broncos' offseason program strictly at cornerback, as Sean Payton says he believes that's the best way to get him acclimated. But Barron figures to be used potentially in a variety of ways. He said, quote, and so in a variety of ways, and then defensive coordinator Vance Joseph said this at minicamp, quote, when you watch his game in college, you see a very intelligent player. You see a guy who played multiple positions in college. He's a very mature, smart football player. His ball skills, his combine workout, the entire process was really buttoned up. He was a can't-miss prospect for us, end quote. Broncos safety Brandon Jones said about Jahdae Barron, quote, he's super smart. I would say that is the first thing, especially from a rookie. You always ask a lot of questions as a rookie, but he asks the right questions. Very eager to learn, super athletic, obviously, end quote. Jahdae Barron played in 55 games in his career at Texas, started 37 of them. He won the Jim Thorpe Award last season after gaining 67 total tackles, 5 interceptions, and 11 pass breakups. He had 11 tackles in the team's win over Arizona State, which is an instant classic that I was on site on location for at the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in the quarterfinals of the college football playoff this past season. So shout out to him for that, and definitely excited to see Jahdae Barron, who I'm already a fan of, see what he could do with the Broncos. So a lot of respect for Jahdae. I hope everybody gets their contract signed and gets things figured out sooner than later for the benefit of the team and the benefit of the player, of course, as well. And I actually have the Jade Barron message that he had. So when we had finished up with everything that we had to do, when we had the post-game press conference between Texas and Ohio State and everything was finished up at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in the semifinals of this past season's college football playoff, everybody got up except for Jade Barron. And he said, I have something else that I'd like to say. And he went on to say this.
We won. We know, we truly know who our leader is, and that's God and Jesus Christ, and ultimately just having the ability to use the gift that He gave us to share it to the world. It's been amazing, and obviously amazing for me just growing up in Austin and then having the opportunity. But everybody's not blessed to do the things we do, to be here. People dealing with fires and chaos in New Orleans. So just to have the opportunity to glorify God on the football field it's truly been an honor. So I appreciate everybody.
And I just wanted to share that because I've kept that on my phone, and the reason why Jade Barron made such an impact on me is because of his talk about his faith. I got to ask him about his faith as well as Quinn Ewers, and I'm very grateful that I got to do that, and so happy that we had the opportunity to be able to, that I had the opportunity to be in the room and see a man or woman say, hey, before you all go, I have one more thing I want to say. And that one more thing was about God. It was about celebrating God and having the opportunity to praise God on such a high stage. So, Jade, because of things like that go well beyond football, you will be successful in life. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do. So, God bless it. Big time shout out for that. I do have to speak on something that's very sad. Former Texans and Eagles linebacker Brian Brahman died at age 38, which is insane because I am literally sitting here this morning at 39 years old. Former Houston Texan and Philadelphia Eagle linebacker Brian Brahman died today. This is a message that came out at 7 o'clock, a little after 7 o'clock this morning, after seeking treatment this year for a rare, aggressive form of cancer. Brahman had undergone multiple surgeries during treatment in Seattle, Washington, according to a GoFundMe page set up to help him with his expenses. Brahman had been diagnosed with cancer in February of this year, and we're only here in July. Agent Sean Stellato confirmed Brahman's death today, noting that Brahman had two daughters, 11 and 8. Stellato said, quote, Brian, people saw this enormous human being, but his heart was big on his body. It was big as his body. His spirit was so motivating. He was so real and genuine with everybody. That made him special. It's hard. I feel like I lost my firstborn. This kid, he gave me his bed every time I came to Philadelphia. He would threaten me if I didn't stay with him. That's something I'll always cherish. My heart hurts today. That's coming from his agent. So there are some good agents out there, folks. Please know that. End quote. The GoFundMe for Brahman raised more than $88,000, with former Texans star J.J. Watt giving $10,000 and other former teammates contributing. J.J. Watt put out the message, rest in peace, brother. Gone far too soon. He put that out on Instagram. Brahman played 7 seasons in the NFL from 2011 to 2017. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles after joining the team for the playoffs, blocking a punt in the divisional round. That Super Bowl was Brahman's final game. Stellato said, quote, you look at his journey and beating the odds to make it to the NFL after going undrafted, not only making it, but producing and becoming a world champion. He had a real hard journey. In life, we all run this race. To die at age 38, the game of football and his family are hurting today. He was a staple for what football and underdogs are about. End quote. Tell your loved ones you love them. Show up. Call. Text. Don't wait on life, man. because life don't wait on us. We'll take a step aside for a fast break inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. We'll be back with Katie Kolinski. Rest in power, Brian. God took you home. God bless. We'll be back after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats.
Recording stopped.
Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Happy to be here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios and bringing in Miss Katie Kolinski here with us. She is no stranger to the broadcast. Katie and I have spoken for many years, going back to her time over half a decade with Jim Boeheim at Syracuse University with the men's basketball program, then on to Buffalo, then from there to Lafayette, finding her way to Lemoyne back in Syracuse, New York, and now for the first time ever making history in her career as a head coach for the Newman School girls basketball head coach in Boston, Massachusetts. So with that being said, Miss Kolinski, how are we doing?
Dan, you always give the best intros.
Hey, listen, I couldn't give the intro if you didn't have, the journey yourself and you didn't have this resume. So what I should say beyond everything else is, has always been a good friend, has always made time for me, always made me feel priceless. And no matter what is going on between a job, getting a job, going to a different place, whatever's going on in Katie's life, she has always made it a point to make me feel special, appreciated, and valued. So, when it comes to being a coach, appreciation, value, making people feel special, those are all components of being a good coach. So to expand my intro for you, Katie, you have always been there, and I will never forget, and you know this, every time we talk, I talk about this, there's only one person that joined me when my Raptors did something that I was told for years was impossible. There was only one person sitting to my right, pissed off that they weren't getting her what she needed when we were at the restaurant, and rightly so. And so that is Miss Katie Kolinski, who was with me to watch the Raptors win in 2019. So you know that our friendship can easily be described in a lot of different ways, but the fact that you were the one that showed up and sat with me on one of the moments that I was told was impossible is something that I'll never forget.
No, for sure. It definitely has gone both ways, and you supported me when I was back at Syracuse, so I always appreciate you too.
Yeah, no, of course, and means a lot to me. So you have this opportunity now. I know you and I were talking about what is that next step, the next piece of the journey. Why not make a little bit of history? Why not go and be a head coach somewhere? So bring me into the Newman School and why this felt like the right fit for you to lead this program.
Yeah, so I think like the big thing for me is just being around good people. And just when I went on my visit to the Newman School and, just meeting the faculty, the staff, the students, it just felt right. It felt like it was home for me.
Yeah.
And I think they wanted someone to come in that they have a lot of good pieces. So it's really just being able to manage the good pieces and, they're already, ready to go and, try to win a championship next year. So for me, it was just enticing, just to be able to lead these women and help them get to their next steps too. All of them pretty much want to play in college. So for me, I understand the process. I understand how, the recruiting works. And, I know a lot of people in the business and behind the scenes. So I feel like I can be a good asset just, as they go on their journeys of finding the right school too. So I think it just, it aligned when I got there.
Yeah, and like you said, you know that. You know the road that it takes to get there. You know what it takes to get there. So just what you can say about, being a resource for these student athletes at the Newman School, and because you've been on the other side, because you've seen the recruiting side, you've seen what it takes, the workout regimens, the looking at film, what teams are looking for, what schools are looking for, what matters when it comes to college, just what you can do to be a resource with all that knowledge and wisdom to help out these student athletes to realize their dream of playing college basketball.
Yeah, I think it's big for me. Just like I told the kids when I went on the visit, I was like, listen, I'm gonna run my practice like college already. So when you get to college, it's gonna be an easy transition for you. Skill development wise, obviously I've been able to train with the best of the best and learn from the best of the best. So I'm going to use that to help them develop, on the court, and then off the court, just becoming young women that are leaders in this world. I think it's really big off the court as on the court. And, I want every, player on the team to be leaders on the court and off the court. And I don't want to just be, oh, you're a senior and you can lead. Like as soon as you are in the program, you're going to learn how to lead. So when they do go off to college, they're more than ready. I want the Newman players to be the most ready out of any kids that go to college. So for me, it'll be, every single day helping them get ready to go. And when they leave Newman to go off to where they choose, that they're just ready to go and ready to make an impact from day one.
When you were looking at this next step for you in your career, bring me into how you landed at Newman, just these last few months and how this all came together.
Yep. So I was, looking at different opportunities in college, head coaching in prep world. And, I learned more about the prep world just from recruiting. I recruited a lot of the New England area, the NEPSAC. So I was familiar with the program already. And I recruited a lot of the players on the team already too, and have known a lot of them for many years of recruiting since I was at Lafayette. So for me, it was kind of like, all right, what's the best next step in my career? Do I stay in college? Do I go, prep route? And I just felt like it was time for me to be a head coach. It was time for me to make that next step, because I was, in talks with another college program too, to be an assistant coach, at the Division I level. So it was making that choice, is that what I want to do? Or do I go lead my own program? And I ended up deciding to go lead my own program. And, I'm super excited about it. And, for me, I'll learn every single day and keep learning. And, I'm excited for this next step of being able to be a head coach. And now you're the one that gets to make the decisions from subbing to, how we run practice. I'm really excited about that. We get to recruit players into our team too. So I still get to do the recruiting side. And, I'm excited to get coaches into our gym for open gyms, into our games. And I'm going to do everything I can to help our kids get where they want to go. I'll constantly reach out to coaches. I'll constantly, put their stuff out there in social media. I'll do whatever I can to help them get to that next step too.
Yeah, and looking at, like you said, looking at this Newman School and this opportunity for you that you had either stay in the college world and be an assistant or become a head coach and step into this. Why do you feel like at this point in your career, this was the right time to say, I want to lead a program, I want to be the head coach. I want to be able to make the decisions and have the ball essentially bounce with me every single day?
Yeah, I just think it was time. I'm getting older now. I'm not, I'm not in college anymore. I feel like I have the experience I need to be able to do this. That's right. It just feels right that I'm ready. I wouldn't have made a step like this if I felt like I wasn't ready. But just knowing, what I've learned, I've got to learn from some pretty incredible coaches from, Coach Boeheim, Coach Jack, Coach Kia, Coach Grimes. Like, I've learned some really good, really, really, really good coaches and all the assistant coaches I work with. So I feel like I just have the knowledge, to be able to do this now. Like I said, I've worked with pros. I work with Brianna Stewart. I work with Brittany Sykes. All the guys at Syracuse that I've worked with. So I feel like I just have the, knowledge just to be able to help them. We have some top players at Newman. And like I said, all our kids are going to go and play college. And I feel like I, have the capability of helping every single kid on the team. And for me, it's even making decisions from, subbing, when to call timeouts, what plays we're going to run. Like, I'm just excited about all of it. I'm excited to be able to put in my own stuff. And, the talent that we have at Newman, I feel like I'm back to high level basketball, which I'm excited about. Just like I said, we just have a really good group of kids on the team. They all work really hard and they all really just want to learn and grow. And I think that's important. And, that's what I'm most excited about too, is just every day, helping our kids and they're going to help me too. So.
Yeah, Katie Kolinski here with us this morning, longtime basketball coach, and now will be leading the Newman School as girls basketball head coach for this program. I mean, I'm sitting here this morning and I'm excited as your friend and as somebody who's known you for a long time because I'm seeing head coach next to your name. And I mean, you're one of those people that as you were going from one place to a different place and challenging yourself in different areas and being in different parts of the country, I was thinking that. I'm like, at some point, she's got to want to be a head coach. At some point, she wants to be that last chair. Not because she has an ego, but because she wants to be able to help and do more. And like you said, you felt like it was time. You felt like it was the right move to make. For you, when I speak on little girl Katie coming up, what do you want to say to her right now? That little 5-year-old, 8-year-old Katie Kolinski, who now you look back to and say, you love this game, you watched it, you played it, you talked about it all the time, and now you're leading a program for the first time ever. What do you want to say to her?
Honestly, I would have never thought like I would ever get to this point, even, through college, high school. So it's amazing. I know the younger me would be proud. I've definitely had a lot of hurdles to get here, been through a lot in the process, but I feel like I just kept the faith going. I had some really good people by my side that just kept me going in the business, especially, being a mom. And, I know my daughter, she'll be proud and excited when she watches the games this year, which I'm really excited about. So I definitely, I think younger me would be proud. And, I think we're all growing and we're all learning, but we're just doing the best we can. And, like I said, I'm excited and I know younger me would be happy too.
Well, the cool thing is younger you would be happy, but your daughter, her being young, she gets to see this. She gets to see her mom run a program. She gets to see her mom come up. And obviously she's been around basketball since she's been born. But, for Kaya, what that does for you as a mom to, instead of saying, I wonder if coach will allow me to bring my kid to practice. I wonder if it'll be okay if I do this. Now you are the coach and now Kaya Bean can be hanging out doing her thing. So just what you could say to that effect of kind of maybe the surreal parallel of being a little girl saying, could I ever get to this point, to now looking at your little girl saying, hey, mommy did it. You can do anything.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me is, like if I was going to stay in coaching or not, I didn't want to give up the dream because I was a mom and, take the easy way out. I wanted to keep doing this. I wanted her to see that, you can do this, as a mom and, you can be a leader as a mom and you can still work as a mom, So for me, it's a great situation because, I already got her into a private school in Boston. We're going to be living in the dorms with the rest of the players. So she's going to have all these sisters around her, the girl around. And, she's going to love the city. She's going to love being able to come to practice, come to games. I think it's going to be a really good environment for her to grow up in. And even getting into the private school, I think it's going to be the best thing for her, and it's a mile down the road from the Newman School. So I just think things like that are going to be, so, important for her growth and her growing up. And, I just wanted her to know, like I'm going to do everything I can to support her and make sure, we have food on the table, and then, she can grow up in a great environment, and, and hopefully she can learn to keep chasing her dreams, and, don't just stop because of, obstacles or, your mom. So I think that's most important.
Yeah, and it's huge. And like you said, you didn't want a blessing in your life to take away another blessing in your life, and you didn't. And as a single parent over these years, Katie, I mean, what have you learned about yourself raising Kaya, obviously loving the sport of basketball and teaching and recruiting and coaching and doing what you can and being at practices, living in both of these worlds as a mom and in the basketball world as a coach? What have you learned over the years in the balance of the two?
Yeah, I've learned that, being a mom is most important. It's amazing. It's a great journey. Obviously it's hard days, and then there's really amazing days too. And, you don't realize how fast time goes until you watch your child growing. And like, she's already about to be in kindergarten, which is so crazy to me. But I've just learned that I think we're just more capable of doing than we ever can imagine or think we can do. And the more that we just, believe and rely on faith, and the more, we can, it's hard, but, it's definitely rewarding. And I think for me, I've just learned that I'm just more capable of things that I never imagined that I could do. As much as some days you want to give up, you want to quit, you want to, whatever, you want to scream, cry, you realize that you just get through the hard days. And, obviously I have a good support system that helps me get through the hard days. Lucky I have a lot of good friends and family that's always looking out for me. And, I've learned that you got to lean on people when you need them. But I've also learned that, like you said, we're capable of doing a lot more than we can ever imagine. And, it's just been so rewarding being a mom and watching her grow. So.
And I know when you talk about support system over these last couple of years, someone who means a lot to you, your grandfather, went back up to heaven. What do you think he's saying right now?
Yeah, I've actually lost 3 grandparents in the last 2 years. So for me, I think they'd all be just proud and happy. And they didn't get to see me be a head coach, but I know they'd be proud of me being a head coach and moving to Boston and taking this next step. I know they definitely would be proud.
Yeah, and that family that you have and that love and that support system. I know that it's great to have come back to Syracuse and get to see them. You get to have them at the games and whatnot, but Boston is not too far away. What did the family think about you going to one of the most notable cities, not in the country, but one of the most notable cities in the world?
Yeah, I mean, they were just really excited about the opportunity. I don't think there's more people that can believe in me more than my family does. And I think, even my parents always said they knew what I was capable of doing. And a lot of people in my inner circle just felt like this was a good next step for me. I just needed more. I needed, better. And for everyone around me, I think they're just super excited. Obviously, they'll miss us. They'll, miss my daughter a lot. But I think that they are just excited that I have this opportunity and excited just to see me grow as a head coach. My family supported it from day one. Obviously, we had a lot of talks about it before I accepted the job, and everyone just thought this would be the best fit for me. From my mentors, I still talk to even Tammy Reese a lot still, who's the head coach at Rhodey now. She thought this would be a great next step in my career. So just leaning on people like that, I just feel like this was right for me right now.
Yeah, no, and you mentioning Tammy, another great person to have in your corner. And Reese and I would do Reese's Pieces a few years back, and we need to get together again because I miss Tammy way too much. Her spirit, her confidence, her kindness, her goodness. She doesn't understand, I don't know if you feel this way. I would imagine a lot of people do, not just me, but you look to her and you see this beacon of light, but every time she talks to you, you're the light. It's not about her. So you look at her and you're like, Tammy, I'm so happy that we have a friendship. I love having you in my life. I love your positivity. I love your goodness. And she's like, are you kidding me? It's all about you. And she'll flip it right back on you. Do you feel that way about Tammy?
Yeah, oh my gosh, she's awesome. If I was getting recruited by Tammy as a recruit, I couldn't tell her no. I mean, she's a legend and she's just a good person, and she truly cares about her players, which I think is really important in our game. Yeah. So for me, she always was there for me, even through the highs, the lows. I can call her anytime and just tell her hey, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And she'll always listen and be there and be a friend. And I think that's most important. And that's what I've always appreciated, from Tammy.
Yeah, fantastic. And, to your credit, Katie, I mean, the positivity, you and I have had so many, and I think I've told you this before, but having conversations throughout the day, you might remember something, might forget something. I remember conversations that we had and what we talked about. And I remember where I was. I'm like, I was setting up at Boreo's for this event. I was talking to Katie and she was, giving me advice on this. And this was a time in my life where I needed to hear that and I needed to really listen to it. And so, I mean, you in and of yourself, I mean, you have been someone who has been really open with the people that you care about. And you've been really honest and you've worked really diligently and really hard. And you work things out, kind of with us. I mean, our friendship, you and I have always talked about things and had that trust. And so I want to say thank you for never diminishing trust, for always being a place you can lean on, and for being someone that you could feel safe with to just talk and be who you are and speak things out in public, because your players should know at the Newman School and everything that you do coming up in your journey. I think people should know from a person that has trusted you that if you give your trust to Katie Kolinski, I've never seen you break my trust, and I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you, Dan. And, I think the biggest thing, going through this is I just want all the Newman players to know, like, I care, I'm going to care. And I'm going to be there for them every step of the way, because I feel like as coaches, that's our job. Like if you're not there mentoring your kids and helping them grow and pushing them to where they can go, then, I think we're doing them a disservice. If you're a coach in this business that's not doing it for the right reasons, I think, again, you're doing the kids a disservice. And I really, truly believe it's our job to, love our kids, be there for them and help them grow, and it's so much more rewarding, and you get more out of life, and you'll go farther in life by doing that than, doing it the other way. So,
yeah, caring comes first. So Newman, for you, how did that all kind of roll together? Did you find, was it something where they reached out to you, there was a connection from them to you, or you saw that they had a vacancy? How did that kind of, turn into what it did as far as how Newman and Katie Kolinski connect to each other?
Yeah, so I saw that there was an opening, and I put my name in the hat, and they interviewed a ton of people from my knowledge. A lot of great coaches had interviewed for the job, college, high school world, and I just went through the interview process, and I ended up getting the job offer, and like I said, it just felt right. After being on campus and, meeting all the people and the players, and it just felt right to, finally lead a team, and, just for where I am in my life with my daughter right now, like we get the summers off and I can go coach and train and do what I want in the summer, I'm not on the phone a million hours a day anymore. I get to be present with my daughter. I get to, ride her bike and drop her off at school every morning, and pick her up at the end of the day, and then, she can come to practice, or, whatever the case may be. So it just seems like right for my daughter right now in me, and what, I think is best. So that's what I'm most excited about is, being able to be a mom and, lead the team.
Well, and for the first time ever, you're on the other side. You have a team where the student athletes are getting approached by a bunch of different places, as opposed to being one of the many places trying to recruit a player. You are now the coach of one place that has many places trying to recruit. What are your thoughts about being on the other side of it, instead of being the recruiter, to be, the school where we have all these recruitees, and instead of you being one voice amongst all the voices calling them saying, hey, you should come here, you're coaching an institution where you're one place hearing from others, as opposed to being one of many voices trying to talk to one place?
Yeah, so, for me, I'm just going to be the support system in their processes as much as each player wants. Like I said, I think the transfer portal is the way it is, and partly because, if I'm being transparent, coaches, aren't always doing their work recruiting wise. So it might be, they're recruiting someone that should be a little lower, or, whatever the case may be. So I think, that's part of it. But then I think the other part of it is doing your research to make sure it's the right system for the player. How are you going to fit in that system? What do they run? What offenses, defenses? Do they play freshmen? Do they not play freshmen? What's their development like? So like, I'm going to be the person that, as much as they want me in on their processes, I'm going to be asking all the hard questions. I know a lot of the teams and their systems and the coaches, so I know firsthand, how they develop, what they run, how their offense is. So for me, I'm going to make sure we get all the information we need to make these right decisions, and hopefully it'll lessen, I don't really want to send a lot of kids and then they're hitting the portal. We got to find the right fit for them off the court, on the court, school wise. Are they a staff that takes care of their players? Are they checking in with their players? Are they going to lunch with their players to make sure they're okay? Are they, living in the gym with them outside of practice? I think that's important. Just finding the right fit and asking all the hard questions and make sure they're getting to the right people, I think will be most important.
Yeah, like you said, being a resource and being someone who is there throughout the entire process with them to help them through it. From what you know at this point about the Newman School, what is it that you think is so special about this school itself and about the caliber of student athlete that's there?
Yeah, so like I said, it's the people. Everyone in the building cares about the kids that are at the school, if they play basketball or not. I think that's most important. Like for me, me, I really just want to help people. So the fact I'm around other people that only care about helping others and nothing else, not their ego or, having hidden agendas, I think is most important. And then I think we have the talent to win a championship this year, which I'm super excited about. Like I said, they just work hard enough to be able to do that. And then, I want to make it into a powerhouse. Like when you talk about girls basketball in the prep world, you talk about like the Lou Highs of the world, IMG academies of the world. I want to be up there. I want people to be like, hey, I want to send my top player to Newman, because we're going to create a powerhouse. And, I think that's that's exciting to me. And I want to be in those conversations when people talk about the prep world, and you only do that by working hard and getting the right people in there. And, for me, if you just have good people who work hard, I know we can become that powerhouse. So,
yeah, and the excitement of this. I mean, I guess the big question is, are you going to run a 2-3 zone?
I'm going to be honest. I'm not. I want to prepare our kids for college, and yeah. I think if I sit them back in a 2-3 zone at this point in their life, as young women preparing for college. Yeah. I think that they won't be most ready to go to college. That doesn't mean I'm not going to sprinkle in the zone. It doesn't mean, we might have to use it, and depending on the situation. But to me, I want to make them as good as we can being at man-to-man. Like I said, getting all the lingo down, getting the rotations down. We'll have our own, what we do defensively. We'll have our own, this is how we do it. And this is, I would say, I don't want to give too much, but yeah. It'll be where the lingo and everything will align with college. So
yeah, no, and I'm definitely excited for this opportunity for you and looking forward to it. You do have my word that we will have to work something out if you have that schedule, because I know you and I have talked about going to a WNBA game together, doing some stuff, but now that you're the head coach here, I think we need to start, doing some of these things that we talked about. So I will, if you'll have me, I will definitely be happy to come out and support the Newman School and get to see you in this first season. So we got to figure out that schedule, but I definitely want to come out and see what you got going on.
I'd love that, Dan. And then, obviously we can, see Boston. It's just going to be awesome. There's so much we can do out there. I know there's going to be a ton of concerts and go to, Celtics games. We can go to Patriots game. There's so much out there in this area that I'm super excited about. And, definitely would love to have you out there. So,
yeah, no, it would be my absolute pleasure. And I know that you've already been running around. Before we jump into the NBA and the WNBA here for a couple minutes, why Boston for you? I know we look at the Newman School, we look at this opportunity to be a head coach, but just what you could say about the city of Boston. I know you just made mention there's always something going on. There's concerts, there's the Celtics, there's obviously the Bruins, there's the Red Sox, there's the Patriots, and so on and so forth. I mean, it is a very electric city. It's a city that's constantly moving. How did Boston speak to you?
Honestly, I always said I would never move to a big city. I like to have my grass and, I live kind of like country-ish. So to me, I never thought I would do it, but just being out there and just seeing how awesome the city is and the people. And like I said, my daughter gets to grow up in one of the best cities in the whole world, and that's what I'm most excited about. And just being around good people and being able to experience something different where, every single day we'll be able to do something new, which I think is awesome. And you should even see like our facilities. Like we practice and play at the track at New Balance, which is better than some college facilities, honestly, which is awesome. And we get to go to BU and use their rec services every day that we want. They have all the courts there, and we can use the pool and the saunas and things like that. We can lift weights over there. So it's just such a cool environment. And then, we have all those schools there too: Boston College, Northeastern, Harvard, like the list goes on. So it's just easy to get to a lot of schools in that area: Providence, Rhode Island, which is super exciting. We can go check out practices. We can go just keep learning, go watch games. And that's my biggest thing, is just being in an environment I can keep learning and growing. And, the men's team, they already won it last year. So they're primed, they're loaded with talent over there too. So I'm excited to be able to learn and collaborate with the men's staff and, just keep building these two powerhouses.
Yeah, definitely something very exciting to have here in Boston. I mean, I'm looking forward to it because Boston's one of those cities where, you're not going to have to twist my arm to go back there, but to have one of my good friends there means a lot, and that kind of changes the game for me even more. Before I let you go, like I said, a little bit of WNBA and NBA. WNBA, first thing that comes to your mind when you think about it. I know, there's the fight for more money. There's the fight to make sure that these players are taken care of. There's expansion going on with the WNBA evolving and trying to have more franchises here and more cities represented. Where do you think things are at right now as far as trying to make sure these players have good contracts, expanding into different franchises in different cities? Just what your thoughts are on the WNBA.
Yeah, I think that will all get figured out. I think the women that are leading the league right now and on those committees, I think they are very, smart individuals and know how to go about it the right way. And I think the WNBA is going to have to listen and, give them more money and give them what they deserve. And, like they keep saying, they're not just saying, oh, we just want all this money. They're comparing it to the NBA and what the NBA makes compared to what they're bringing in. And it's not equaling the same on the women's side. And, they want to be paid for what they deserve. And now these arenas are getting sold out. And, it's the hottest it's ever been right now, the WNBA, which I think is awesome. The amount of men that are watching it now. Even yesterday, like my dad was watching like Caitlin Clark and, the game. And like, I'm like, he watches more women's basketball now than men's, and I think that's what's going on and that's what's happening. And I think it's really important that the WNBA gives the players what they deserve.
Yeah, and hopefully, seeing this growth of the WNBA, we will see more great things coming. Obviously, Toronto having a franchise personally means something to me. The NBA side of things, Katie, I mean, as we look at it, you're going to be in Boston. I know you're a Laker fan.
Mm-hmm.
Boston has more championships by a little. And so my question to you now is, being in Boston, do you stay a Laker fan or do you open up into the world of the Celtics? I know Jason Tatum is out. He's injured. We're not going to see him for a minute, and God willing, he'll be back as soon as possible, fully healthy, and all will be well with him. But you're in Celtic country now as a Laker fan. How does this work?
I've never changed one of my teams since I was born. I've always stuck with my teams, and I'm Lakers for life. It wouldn't even feel right if I rooted for the Celtics, if I'm being honest. Like, I just could not stand the Celtics growing up. And now that I'm living in Boston, I'm still going to root for my Lakers. Not in a disrespectful way, but I can't do it. I'm a LeBron fan. I think all those reports right now are just silly and just trying to cause drama unnecessarily. LeBron will be a Laker, and I'm really excited about the Lakers next season, but I will try to get to some Celtics games and just, see the experience. So.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, TD Garden, it'll be fun to see But I definitely, I mean, my thing too is, I mean, I have family that are Celtics fans. My grandfather up in heaven on my mom's side, big time Celtics fan. My Aunt Donna, my cousins who are like little brothers to me, they're all Celtic fans, but I've been a Raptor forever and a day, and I'm going to stay a Raptor. So you get the final word, Miss Kolinski. Since I have asked questions and you've been so gracious, the hot seat will be fully me, not you. And so you get to ask 3 questions. You get to take over Wake Up Call for the next few minutes. You can ask me any 3 questions. What do you got?
Oh my gosh, you put me right on the spot, huh?
That's right. I got to put you on the. Yeah, well, I'm putting myself on the hot seat and also putting you on the spot. So.
All right. First question: who's winning the WNBA championship this year?
Here's the thing. I have more than one that I want to win, but who is going to win is the question that you asked me. I mean, obviously, Bree, what she did last year and being a part of the Liberty, that to me is an incredible feat, and I'm super happy for them, and I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for her. I'd love to see the Liberty do it again, but I'm also a massive Caitlin Clark fan, so I'd like to see the Indiana Fever do it. I mean, feet to the fire. Let's say Breanna Stewart 2-peat. Let's say the New York Liberty do it back to back.
Going with the hometown hero. Okay,
Yeah,
I like it.
I'm gonna go with the hometown hero. What's your next question?
All right. Where do you project this Syracuse men's basketball team to finish in the ACC next year? And I'm only asking because I got to watch practice and I have my own opinion.
Okay. So, well, I mean, the thing that's been so interesting is, you know, I'm used to like knowing the same faces for 4 or 5 years. Last year I walked into the locker room and I'm like, I got to get to know all these faces. Like, these faces are different to me now. So, I mean, obviously the transfer portal has affected Syracuse. It's affected the country. And so, I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm definitely hopeful. I mean, I think what Duke is doing, I mean, there's been no drop off. And so, you know, I can't knock any of the work that they put forward. I know some teams that people have high expectations of. We'll see where they're at. You know, I think Louisville's got some things to be excited about. Obviously, North Carolina's trying to stay relevant. But, I mean, where do I have Syracuse finishing in a conference that now has 18 schools for basketball? I'm going to say right now in my very, very, very early prediction, I'll say they finish in the top half.
Okay.
It's just so hard. Like, it's so hard to get out of the ACC now. But I'm going to say, like, let's put them at 9 right now. And then as we get closer and I actually get to see more of this new look team because it is so new. I mean, you got Donnie Freeman coming off of injury, coming back. You got JJ. And besides that, it's a whole lot of new. But, you know, Cayenne Anthony and the crew, let's see what they got to bring to the table. So I'm going to say top half, but I'll have more to say about it as time goes by.
Well,
What's your last question? Well, I do have to ask you this, though, because you said something. What did you see in practice?
I honestly love the team. Like, the most excited I've been about a team since Tyler Ennis' year, that they started 25-0. I think they're very talented. I think they're deep. Like, they can go 9 or 10 deep. I think, like, they just crushed the offseason. I think the team is fun. Like, I think people are going to love the personalities, the players. Like, I think they're loaded, if I'm being completely honest. Like, when I was watching practice, I was like, holy cow, like, this is a good team, like, very good. And it might take them a little while. They got some tough games in November. But once this team clicks, and, you know, I said it when I left, I said this year isn't even about, like, you don't even have to run offense, whatever. It's all about managing personalities and egos and playing time, because that's how loaded they were. And one of the top players didn't even practice that day. And I was like, holy crap. So I think, you know, the biggest question mark to me will be like the 5 position, you know, can they hold their own against bigger bigs? But other than that, man, they can shoot it, they can drive, they play defense, they're hard nosed, like they play hard. Like, they're talented. Like, the kid from Georgia Tech, I love him. The kid from Oregon State, I love him. Like, he shoots lights out. Even the Montana State transfer, he reminds me of like the guy from OKC. Dart or whatever, like the physical guy, like, and he can shoot it, like they're good. Like, Cayenne can score it in volume. Like I said, like, they're just, like, they got JJ still. I think it's gonna be a really good year. Like, Donnie looked great to me. So I'm excited.
Well, you definitely, to the Syracuse fans that are listening, you hype me up here, and you definitely hype them up as well as we look at a team of a lot of new faces coming on to Syracuse. The return of Donnie Freeman, which is obviously a big thing here to help out in the front court, and the return of J.J. Starling, the hometown hero. So a lot of good things to come for Syracuse. What's your last question for me?
Last question. What are you most looking forward to the rest of the summer?
Man, just spending time with my dog. I've definitely, I mean, Lily means the world to me. And so, I mean, that's my kid. That's my daughter. That's my first. And so, I feel like, this year I've really tried to, how much I work, and how much I travel, and how many things I do. And I tried to really stop myself and say, get done what you need to get done. Don't stop chasing your dreams. Don't stop doing everything that you do, but be more persistent and consistent about making time for just you and Lily to watch a movie, to play with her watermelon, which is her like safety blanket toy, to just go out in the front yard and hang out and whatnot. So to put her in the car for a ride if I got to run an errand or something. So I think, spending time with Lily is it's always important to me, but I had been gone and been doing so much. I was down in Florida like 4 times in a short window. I was out in Italy. And when I came home, I just felt like I really, really need to be better with my time. And so, I think that's the most important thing to me because, this world, you could do everything for people that don't appreciate it, and you could do a little thing for somebody that'll appreciate it forever. But she always appreciates our time, and she's the kindest soul that I know. So I want to spend more time with Lily and more time just in that peace and more time appreciating the love that is there, as opposed to the fact that sometimes you can work your tail off for a place that just doesn't get it. So
fair enough. I love it.
So with that being said, Miss Katie Kolinski, your new coach for the Newman School in Boston, Massachusetts, girls basketball, you ain't seen nothing yet, and I'm very excited for this. Head coach for the first time ever, and we get to celebrate that. And Katie, you have my word. Make sure you send me over that schedule, and I will come out to Boston, and we will make a time of it. We'll have a little Boston experience, and of course, I can't wait to get in the gym and to see you lead a program, and I absolutely would not miss your first season in this awesome new chapter for the world. So I'm very excited for you.
I appreciate you, Dan, and thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely, and thanks for hyping everybody up about Syracuse.
I'm hyped.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Dan.
All right, take care. That coming from Katie Kolinski one more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Cannot thank Katie enough for the positivity over the years and being one of those people that I've always been able to trust and always, know that we're going to have a good conversation, be able to spend time together. So God bless to Miss Kolinski and to Mr. Zach Rogacki. We'll take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora and we'll wrap up the show. Right after this, we got some news coming out of Central New York that you may want to hear from. So we will be sharing that news with you in just a little bit when we're allowed to.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily?
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open for you Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and on Sundays from 10 to 5. Make sure you make your way over to GG Cards and Breaks, where you can be a big kid every single week. And tonight we're going to be at the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, GG Cards and Breaks, and the Wildcat Sports Pub continue working together on these trade nights to bring you something wonderful to the community. Of course, the Wildcat's going to give you a great atmosphere, and we are set up for trade night in the private party room. So we'll have that room to ourselves. The food obviously is incredible as always, and GG Cards and Breaks brings the awesome product and the awesome sports card and trading card community together all throughout the year. Can't wait to see you tonight, July 17th, starting at 6 p.m. for GG Cards and Breaks trade night at the Wildcat. And of course, we will be there with Wake Up Call broadcasting videos live throughout the night to share the experience with you. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I want to say thank you for being a part of the show today and always on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. And of course, once the show goes live, they jump into the archive, and you'll find them on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big time thanks to our North Carolinian listeners and visitors, and make sure you head out to Brooklyn Pickle in Southern Pines, North Carolina, 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Course. And many thanks to our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York, Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Brian's Landing, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Mother's Cupboard, GG Cards and Breaks, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins, Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, and Binghamton University Bearcats. Find the Dolphins during Dolphin time Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, the Bearcats during Bearcat time at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, and of course the bonus here with Zach Rogacki this morning. You will find all of these teams by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find our Lemoyne playlist, our BSC Syracuse playlist, and our Binghamton playlist. They're also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, Syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and BinghamtonBearcats.com. With that being said, here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, many thanks to Zach Rogacki and Katie Kolinski sharing a wonderful piece of their history as Zach is drafted by the Colorado Rockies, achieving a dream he had at 5 years old, and Katie Kolinski achieving a dream for herself, becoming a head coach for the first time ever, as being very well ingrained in experience, knowledge, and wisdom in the basketball world, having been under Jim Boeheim for over half a decade at Syracuse, and also at the University at Buffalo, Lafayette, Lemoyne, and now taking over her own program at the Newman School in Boston, Massachusetts. Shout out to her and Kaya Bean. Thanks to being with us. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. I say God bless, no stress, do your best. Remember that God is the voice that matters.